channel, this shared space on YouTube called Natural Connection with the Shaman. I'm your host, Shaman Odin Greywolf, and I'm live here with my co-host, Jamie Jette, that we do every week, except for last week. Sorry about the delay. I had court. So I'm glad to have you here, whether you're tuning in now or coming in later. Thanks for your time, and feel free to drop a line in the chat if you want. So go ahead, Jamie, introduce yourself.
Thank you, John. Hi, I am Jamie Jette. I am a licensed practitioner as well in the New Thought movement for the last 10 years. But it's really kind of interesting because there are so many signs for a lot of us that we're hearing things. And yeah, like John is with license plates, or people are with numbers. I mean, they're coming consistently. So I'm also a sound frequency practitioner, and I'm stepping into these new shoes and remembering that why I came here, why what my mission is here on Earth. Hi, Miss Cheryl. And yeah, I just am inspired to help people remember and realize just how precious they are and how magnificent. So it's not for me to judge. I just know that's my truth. So anyway, Stargate, Sound Medicine, Shangri-La on Hollywood, Life Reflection Cafe on Mondays, where we talk about grieving and death. And yeah, it's just been a wild ride.
Yeah. I like how you said that about remembering what we're here to do. And, I was talking to my therapist yesterday. Hello from Ireland. Ooh, nice. I've always wanted to meet or go to Ireland. It looks beautiful in pictures and on TV. Thank you for tuning in, Bubble Bubble. But I was talking with my therapist, and it kind of helped me defluff some of the spiritual teachings that are out there. Where, like, of course, we were talking about mirrors, like how people, he said it's the worst thing to do to blame yourself for someone else's negative actions and behavior. He said that is not true. He's like, if you're doing what you can to be authentically kind to your environment and someone is negative, stop telling yourself that it's a reflection of something inside of you. He says, that's terrible. So we're going to start work. I like my therapist because we're more like, he gives me homework because he's also training me to be a therapist. And so we're going to be working on cognitive behavioral therapy this month. And cognitive, yeah, I will come over, man. Don't tempt me. I'm looking for any reason to get there now. Cognitive behavioral therapy is about the negative programming and how the thoughts turn our minds into depression. And if we learn how to learning how to challenge them is like this. I was telling him about an entry in my journal I was writing. And I'm writing all this in my journal. And then I realized, I go, you know what? I'm just projecting right now because I did this, this, and this, and I feel guilty for it. And he goes, yes, exactly. Once you become aware of it, you can challenge the thoughts that turn into depression and you can heal yourself instantly. So we're talking about that because there's a lot going on in the world today. And like me and Jamie talk all the time, we live in this world has so many more reasons to smile than it does to be angry. We do live in a heaven on earth. It is a state of mind. And I don't say that as a person looking down on somebody. I heard yesterday, after kind of prepping for this, I talk to myself when I'm at my home. And I was talking back and forth with a friend, and I heard, well, that's good for you, but don't you think you're looking down on others when you say that there's more to life than what to be angry at? And I said, absolutely not. I'm not trying to look down on anybody. I remember being angry. I remember going through it, and I remember it was people who told me to look to the good that helped me get through those fits. So lots been going on this week about remembering our place, what we're here to do. And like Jamie said just a minute ago, if we can walk people back to something to smile about, that's all we're here to do. Sorry for the off on a tangent.
That's good. And I think it's wonderful that this friend felt comfortable and authentic enough um, to converse with you with a trusting heart. I'm telling myself it's a trusting heart because that takes courage to say, well, what about the idea? And they're sharing their perception, which is lovely. In nonviolent communication, Bob and I help facilitate showing others, show, help me to see with your eyes. And so when we do that, but when we do that as humans, your friend, so huzzah for your friend who is comfortable, open-hearted, and with you that can say, don't you think you're looking down? So that was that person's perception, but yet it created perhaps something to ground yourself and say, yeah, that's not what I'm doing. Let me
Yeah,
tell you or share with you what my heart is doing. So that's lovely. I think it's awesome.
yeah. You can love your Yeah, exactly. You can love your anger too. It's just trying to protest. So, something else that came up too. I was watching a documentary called The Kindness Within, and it's on Amazon. And then that kind of spiraled off, I'm not your typical I'm watching a show type person. As the show's going, my mind's just unfolding and remember, look back on yourselves. We talk a lot in the spiritual community about going and healing our ancestry lines, our past lives, our what about this life? These past lives, these past years, those versions of yourself that you didn't like, right? Did you know that accepting that darkness of those versions of yourself you did not like, you could not accept, and you are still denying lived, is waiting for you to accept them and forgive them. And that is your key to moving on into the new light. This came to me and it really set me back for a moment. I started to go back on my life. Um, you know, there was a lot in my life: drugs, violence, things I'm not proud of. And, treating people badly is the worst because I think about it now. I look back on my life now. I look from where I'm at now, and I wouldn't do that to an enemy. And as a matter of fact, sometimes people really make me angry, and I still don't treat them the way I used to. But accepting that part of me was just trying to protect me, trying to guide me, and trying to say something without saying it. So it's healing to go back and accept those parts of yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck and repeat, putting on either the spiritual ego and facade or your true connection with God, which is another thing, a realization that came to me yesterday. There's no spiritual practice in the world that can describe my connection to what I believe God is. And the only thing that I do is it's very simple. It's not, you just have this faith and this knowing, and it will speak to you. But the many, many layers of spiritual ego close. I caught myself recently trying to sell my connection with God in some ways. And, that's just that's not who I am. It's not what I was. And watching this show helped me realize I don't have to know everything because all this books and stuff and teachings, that's just so you can talk with people. That's spiritual ego. I can show you a couple of things to where you can get in touch with what you believed God to be, and then from there, it's yours. And I don't know. Lots been going on. I've had some thoughts, as we can say. So
Yeah, lots of thoughts.
yeah,
Um, I think we came up with the title Heaven on Earth because really, and it seems like an oxymoron, and it does perhaps seem arrogant with what the uh, chaos in the world globally. It is globally. I know that the media seems to focus on what they want you to know.
yeah,
It's interesting how they keep other things zipped up because they don't want you to know. And Bob and I call that an old saying. It's almost like they're putting lipstick on the cross-eyed lady. They're real pretty because the lady doesn't want you to see the cross-eyed. She wants you to see the lipstick. And so it's an old trick. It's an old metaphor, if you will, for taking the attention off of what is also happening behind the scenes.
yeah,
But I really thought when I told you there's so much that's unfolding, and as I'm remembering again why I came here, I'm remembering my song. God, I love that Piea Piea. Blessed are we. I'll put it in the comments. I try to figure out how to do that. But really, how this is sacred. This is sacred land. We forget that. And I don't want to keep talking about we forget. I want us to remember. Remember, we said yes to this great awakening. I'm saying it's been happening for years. And those who are listening don't understand, or they've heard about astrology and the stars and this and that. Whether you like it or not, we're a part of a magnificent cosmo that is just on the edge of a seamless cosmo.
hmm,
And the fact that we are signed up for this great awakening, what's happening globally, my understanding is that this hasn't happened. There's two planets that are aligned right now that haven't been lined up since 1966. When? What was it? The people were fighting against going to Vietnam. It was love, peace, joy. It was all these things that people wanted. The people. So it's very interesting for myself, because I've been delved into astrology probably about 55 years. Okay. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. But
yeah,
now, um, reflecting, and we have so much information and so much technology that we can reflect. Hey, guess what? When these planets were aligned, blah, 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 this is what happened 200 years ago. It's so fascinating for myself.
yeah,
So when being part of this great awakening, don't think it's going to be eh, eh, um, like a smooth water.
no, no,
Absolutely not. It is not. And that is why I'm so passionate about um, understanding how powerful we are. We are so powerful.
yeah,
And I think because if you really look at it, the media is paid, and this hundreds of years. I mean, how far did they go back? The media has been thousands of years old. Well, they wanted you to know, no, you can't say that, but you can say this. This is not new.
no,
Okay. The thing is, we don't have to get caught into that frequency. We keep getting together in these circles, in the sound bath circles, in the drum circles. I keep saying this, in the circle.
yeah,
We all came from an egg. We're a circle. We have a circle around us, whether some of us can see it and some can't.
Right.
It's a circle. So if we come together, there is no start and there is no end. It's all so whole. And so finding a group of like-minded people where you feel like, oh my God, I want more of that.
Yeah.
Or what was that movie, Harry met Sally, when she has that fake orgasm in the restaurant and the people, I want what she has. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, this great awakening that is unfolding, and there are many of us that are gonna poke the bear. I'm gonna poke the bear. I'm gonna keep poking you, and remember why you came here. Remember, you are magnificent.
Yeah.
You are s precious. You are so sacred, um, um, because we're part of all of this. So when we had talked about heaven on earth, it's to the degree, let me repeat that. It is to the degree that we maybe kind of pull back the invisible and just say, "Oh, wow, there's gotta be something good." And stepping away from the TV, I think it was really interesting. My sister-in-law was here last Monday, and she said, "Yeah, I get about, 40 minutes a day of news." I just about fell off my chair. I said, "Elaine, if I get 40 minutes a month, that's overload for me."
Right.
So it's a matter about the power of decision. You can choose to sit there and it's mesmerizing, just like doom scrolling. It's mesmerizing. Put the thing down. Go outside. Pick
Yeah.
up a book. Almighty. They're coming to you. I'm reading this thing, 11 spiritual roles of the soul.
Nice.
Each one of us is, um, we are maybe all of them or we're one of them. But if we know our purpose, if we remember our purpose, remember, I can't fix what happened with my ancestors. I can cut the cord. I'll cut the cord ceremony with anyone who really will do it in love,
Yeah.
in gratitude. But no, 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 no. I'm telling myself this great awakening, this heaven on earth is, if we want it, we are to embody it.
Yeah.
And so if it means walking around in la la land, you know what? And have the childlikeness of a child, they don't judge. They
Yeah.
don't they don't feel shame. They don't feel guilt. They remember. So
Yeah.
much so that when they're little, there's conversation of, "Oh, I forget to remind me so I remember what it's like." Remember what it's like to have a world that is created in and as paradise. And I'm telling myself, I'm thinking galactically, they're here to help us. But I'm thinking also somebody here on Earth is MF pissed off.
Yeah.
I just found out from my niece that they are lasering and controlling the weather.
Oh
And
yeah.
I said,
Oh
is
yeah.
some NADAC's site? And I said, well, what about other countries? Why is it that the United States is wanting to um, causes havoc with ourselves? So
Yeah.
if I get caught up in that, I get off focus
Yeah.
of my purpose. And my purpose is just to keep daily, before I get out of bed, cover the earth with love and light, and know that this is a paradise. It's what is ever heaven is to be. I mean, it's just, I haven't looked up the Latin word, but heaven on earth. Really, if you look at it, we have everything and beyond our wildest imagination to even see in this lifetime. I know I said it before a couple weeks ago. There's so much. There's so much, and instead of focusing on that little, that part that's uncomfortable and that part that, hurts. I mean, my friends are, um, Yeah, worship the ground you walk on. Yes, but we forget. So that's why I'm wanting us to remember. And I know that a lot of my even my spiritual center is going in a paradigm shift. It makes me sad because change is painful.
Yeah.
Um, but it's I signed up, so I can't change that. That is their journey. That is what they're finding in their hearts that they need to do. So with your your subscribers and your supporters, there is so much that we can do collectively. And remember, we signed up to remember our purpose. What is that? What is that? Make way for those days yet to come, or for those yet to be born. I
Yeah.
mean, and just remember, I don't have to walk in my ancestors' shoes, but I do remember their song. I want to remember the rhythm of their heart. I want to remember the rhythm of the four elements. I want to remember how it must have felt having the sun on their skin, the same as it does for me and the same for you.
Right. Exactly. And you know, when you were talking about astrology, that's like one of the, and I don't mean astrology for, oh, look, I can go do astrology readings. I mean, I used to be like that. I believe we all come into things with the intent of making money at first, but that's one of the practices that I share with people about how to know that this divine is you. Like you, it's really weird, but it's like you set an intention, you write down a question, right? And then guess what? It's Monday. Oh, what's the moon doing? Guess what? The moon's going to answer your question if you line it up. The moon is here with this planet under this nakshatra at this degree. What does that mean? Google it. If you don't know astrology, just Google it. It answers your question. The
Yeah.
planets are aligned here. There's a stellium there. What does that? Write questions before you look into the astrology. Then look, then realize that this universe is answering you. Another practice I teach people is walk around in nature in your local environment. You don't have to know the plants. All you have to do is know what your body needs. Walk and let the plants call you. You walk up to them plants, find one that's interesting, then Google it. What does this plant do medicinally? Guess what? That plant answered your prayer. So
Mm.
there's a lot of practices that I try to teach. A lot of things boil down to just that. Being one with this universe is so simple. And like we talk about the media and showing what they know this too. So we can use the planetary energy to put on a show, and that will enhance whatever agenda we want. This is what magic is. I've studied magic for years, from Satanism to witchcraft to all the way through every higher and lower realm there is. High magic is utilizing the energy of the planets and stars to enhance your agenda and give it power. So when we feed, even if we feed the negative, like we dislike this person or we dislike this side, we are fluffing their egregor's ego. You may as well just get on your knees and blow, because that's what we're doing. And they know this. You know, come on, they're the elites. They're in charge of politics and company. They know all of this. So they know how to guide and direct the script. Oh, guess what? We're entering Aquarius. We're going to put this person in charge and we're going to make this state, this studio, and this is the agenda that's going to scream, and people are going to add and fuel and fluff the ego of this agenda. And then we're going to change their Bibles and tell them a new religion.
Yes, they sure are. Thank you, Bubble Bubble. We are our ancestors. Thank you for remembering for me because I forget sometimes. I'm truly grateful. So that was nice. Hi, S. Leela. What's that girl's name?
S.
S.
Leela. Hello,
Leela.
Leela. Where are
Hi.
you coming from? Coming from? We've got Bubble Bubble from Ireland. Cheryl's in Quartzsite, and let us know where you're from. We're in Las Vegas, by the way. But yeah, that we are ancestors. That's this card, Janus. The Roman goddess or god Janus reminds us that we are our own spirit guide. Our ascended self, our highest future self, is the spirit guide we connect to ask for guidance. And we are all of those ancestors of our past. So you intuitively picked up on one of the cards I pulled for today.
Yeah, she's from the UK. What was I going to say? Also, the Great Awakening, I wanted to back up a little bit because sometimes people, I mean, I didn't know what it was until it was explained to me that we are in this 3D and um, we are in a great awakening. I know it's been for years. Okay. But no. We are stepping into the fifth dimension, if you will. We're going warp speed, I'm telling myself. And there's no room in the fifth dimension for this negativity, for this lack, for this victimhood. There is, and as there's many of us that are moving into the fifth dimension, um, I I'm telling myself it's part of the unfoldment and the evolution of this remembering heaven on earth because there's been a, we had industrial era, we had the dark ages, we had the mechanical ages, we had all these different ages. Okay.
Yeah.
But uh, going and stepping with the great awakening into that fifth dimension, and oh by god, that the third dimension is so dense. No, they don't want you to go there. We're gonna dumb down you. We're gonna tell you what to think. We're gonna tell you what to believe. We're gonna tell you what to eat. Bleh.
Yeah.
Just let it. The best way to end an argument is agree. Yeah, that works for you, but
Right.
I'm gonna exit stage left over here, and that's where I'm gonna step in to these new practices and these new ideas. Because look, we've come a long way from even the 70s carrying the big phone that looked like a walkie-talkie to it's not even 5 inches that we have the world at our hands.
Right.
So I was telling John the other day, I saw a vision of how even the idea that we metamorphose, they say, like from a Neanderthal into this person that's upright, not needing the long arms, etc. I said, "Oh my God, John, I just saw that this person almost had a phone implanted in their hand." When they were walking down the street, it was and I don't do drugs, I don't do acid, I don't do none of that. I mean, I'm a coffee and a beer drinker and water drinker. That's it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the vision came that I see that the evolution, we're in it.
Yeah.
We're in it. So it's so nice to maybe say, wow, we're in the evolution. I am the evolution. You are the evolution. And
Yeah.
so when we embody that which we remember and really embody that which we are, sky's the limit. The potentials, possibilities and the potentials are infinite,
Yeah.
in my opinion, my observation.
Well, yeah, they are. Even my therapist was telling me that yesterday. He's like, remember all the good. Hey, Lois, thank you for coming in. Lois is from Louisiana, Cajun Queen, my sister. So he was reminding me about all the good in our lives. And I just spent these last week. a lot of time with my grandchildren. And like you said, these babies, they are full of love and joy and happiness, and they couldn't, there is no, there's no denying the bliss that is available to our lives, you know? I see the kids, the babies, and my heart warms up and the blood in my body feels like tingly electricity because they're so joyful. And then I see adults and they're so upset over things they can't really control.
But they forget.
They
And
forget.
and so that's why I didn't want to focus on forgetting. I wanted to focus on remembering. If we help each other to remember,
Yeah.
and even maybe being around the children, or um, taking one of your kindergarten pictures and scotch taping it to your bathroom mirror,
Yeah.
and remember, you remember,
Remember
you
that beauty.
beautiful. You are joy. You are all that you wish you want to be. You are that and more.
Right? That is what heaven on earth is. Because when it boils down to it, it's a state of mind. You know, I mentioned studying with even Satan, well, the Satanic Bible cult, right? Satanism had nothing to do with a devil. But do you know they even believed to get right within? It's mainly a self-help organization. To get right within, you must worship and love this life because it is what matters right now. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, you guys aren't. There's no big doom and gloom. You guys are basically just, yeah, I'm here to make my life the happiest it can be. And then all the way to high-ranking spiritual communities, these gurus are telling you, be present, be present. This world is beautiful. And we get caught up, you know, the world's like, you don't have enough money, your clothes aren't nice, your car is this and this. And so what? You know what? I've learned since 2014 when I got out of jail this last time. I learned that people were going to judge me when I made 100 grand a year to when I had nothing. So I stopped caring about what clothes I had, what cars I did, what this and that and the other. And that's what it comes down to. Accepting yourself. Remember how beautiful you are. Because this life is worth living.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really is. I've never written that before. Um, before I wrote it in my journal. I don't know where it came from, but I suppose it was just a reflection on the day. That was such a gift, and I I did say, um, this is for myself, is heaven on earth, that you can fall into dreamland, trusting, trusting that this universe or somebody, or I mean, I got a counsel. I know a team about 13
Yeah.
that they got my back.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
talked right before we came on. I was reminding you, I want to walk with you. Um, and I'm not going to walk in front of you, John. I wanted to walk with you, because sometimes we're here to remember for each other that we're not alone.
Yeah.
We're not alone. We're not alone in our anguish. We're not alone in our heartache. We're not alone in our anger. We're not alone in our confusion. We're not alone. And yet, when we remember and flip the switch on, if you will, of um, just getting up. Like I've told you before, get up and go and sit on the other side of the room and look at the room from a different angle. And if that's what I personally can help people do with their own lives is to change their angle, then I'm all in because I know I'm remembering why I'm here. I'm I'm here. I'm here for this great awakening, this evolution into this fifth dimension. And you think I know what the hell it is or it looks like? No,
No, but
but
it's
I'm gonna,
a feeling.
yes.
It's a feeling, and it's a high vibe. Like, okay, here's a for instance about knowing that we're not alone with the ascended masters or God or angels, whatever we want to call them. I call it everything. Leaving my one granddaughter's house after just loving and playing, and she's making me food in her little house, the toy house stuff that they have, and she's grandpa, and I'm driving across town to go babysit my other grandbaby who's just a little infant. I get out of the car to go into the store, and on the way there was more signs that led up to this, but I get out of the car to go to the store. The car just across from me parked, the license plate says grandpa. And I'm like, how can you deny it? Like, it's so those are kind of things. That's what I talk about. My connection to God is like, it talks to me. It'll talk to me.
It
Huh?
really taught everyone, John. I really there's somebody said that Martin Luther King said that um, you know, silence with this self activation of what's going on in the planet. Silence is a sense of betrayal, and I've been really troubled with that. And I said, oh, no, 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 not in my world. The
No.
silence is where all the messages come in, the license plates, the cards, the songs, that the silence, it's okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody believes or is seeing a perspective of me because I am not an activist, it doesn't, it's not what I signed up for. I already know that.
Yeah.
Um, but being silent, somebody's got to hold the torch while they're busy activating and fighting and arguing, and but somebody's got to remember to be the light keeper, the keeper of the light, the way shower, the coder. There's all these different things that we have a purpose. And so if you believe that what my silence is a betrayal,
Oh no.
forgive me, because I that's not my truth. My truth is that in the silence, and you were silent. There was probably a lot going on when that wonderful license plate just, somebody was sending you a loving message, Grandpa. I
Yeah.
mean, you cannot, when you're tuned in, you cannot make this stuff up.
No. Just before that, a few days before that, I was at my oldest granddaughter's birthday party, and it was at a ranch, horses and cowboys. They were all dressed up as cowboys and cowgirls. And as I'm driving home with my mother in the car, so she got to witness this, a license plate drove by and it said something in the lines of, oh, it said true fam, like true family, right? The very next license plate said howdy. And my mom was like, oh my God. She's like, they really do to us. You see? And my brother, Brandon, holy moly, right there. He sent me a YouTube video from a 92-year-old man. There were some things that in that video that I wanted to take note on. The silence, like you're talking about, being able. So there are people in this world that are living so fast from one pleasure to another, from one distraction to another, from beer to toys to drugs to parties to girls to never stopped running. And when they run out of fuel. Like, let's just say you run out of money to stop doing all of these pleasures and things, and you never sat in that silence to learn to love yourself, then life does feel like it's over. And ways that helped me was after my complete breakdown. Like, I say breakdown because the world flipped upside down. I came back from a near death experience, and plants were talking. The world was weird. People's faces contorted and twisted. It was strange. But I had to learn what it felt like to. Can you hear me? Okay. I had to learn. I had to learn what it felt like to lose myself in a painting. Just let go and let art come through. I had to learn to lose myself. When I say lose myself, I mean get caught in the bliss of watching birds and wind blow through the trees and feel like they were talking to me. Like, some people would say that's crazy. I don't care. I called it beautiful. It was something that these are the things. If you can take one thing, it's to learn how to lose that rush around the world, trying to distract yourself from sitting there for a moment. And those are the things that brought me back from a near death experience, from literally thinking that I okay, it took me years. I was believing that this wasn't the real world. I had died and I was walking through my underworld, which I probably was. Heaven's on earth, so why wouldn't the underworld be here on earth, right? So that's out of years of trying to figure it out. That's what I have to sum it up. Learn how
But
to love it.
well, I'd be curious to ask your viewers, have anybody else um, traveled in the underworld?
Mm. Ooh, yeah.
Because I was fortunate enough to take my first journey years ago. I can't do my math right now.
Yeah.
But it is magnificent. It is not what we um, might perceive as the underworld. No,
Right.
no, no. It is. It's to a certain depth that allows the idea of maybe even connecting more with Mother Earth, seeing what it's like
Yes.
below the surface, just like an iceberg. And they say, oh, it's just this little clip, but you have no idea what is under the water. Well, the underworld is exactly the same way. And I know I'm going on a limb because a lot of my friends that are watching, they don't know that side of me. But I'm telling you, maybe that might have been the beginning, or the jump in the circle of being in the circle for myself.
Yeah.
So
Because it is like that. That's
yeah,
exactly why I thought I was in my underworld. Because I'd walk out in nature and I would be talking to myself, and then the clouds would literally come alive with it looked like a self portrait of Odin, and I could hear him talking and I'm like, this can't be the real world. This can't be the real world. I know I saw things before my near death experience. I've always seen spirits, but after the underworld is like this beautiful magical place where everything is spirit. Like, to this degree, one day a friend of mine asked me to give her son a spirit name. So I said, okay, well, I have to go ask nature for that spirit name. I'm walking in nature and I said, Spirit, what would the best name for this kid be? I heard in my head, Eagle Claw. And I sat there and I thought about it and I looked up at the sky, and I'll be damned if a giant eagle claw didn't form in the clouds and go just like that. And I'm like, okay, that's the name. So that's what, when we say the underworld, there's nothing to be afraid of. We fear the underworld because people tend to fear death. But
And that's what we conditioned to think that's the boogeyman and that's the dark place and that's where you don't want to go. Oh my God. Anybody, you can sit there and name them in the comments how we've been so conditioned about every lot of things. So
yeah,
we talked about this before, deconditioning. That is, I think, the silence and being outside and remembering and being with like-minded people. That if you're having a trouble for that one day of remembering why you're here or who you are, pick up the phone, call someone, or you just think about it. I'll be darned. It's kind of an experiment because I love these experiments in the petri dish. Think about that person and just know that you're troubled, and who knows, the phone might ring for you.
yeah, yeah. And that it does. And there is a lot of times we do hold. I'm guilty of that. I'm the oldest of 4 children, so I'm used to tending my own garden. You know what I mean? So I'm myself guilty of that, not reaching out when things are a little rough. I tend to, but it's true. You can reach out. You do have people in this world. And that's what this is all about. That's what this world is about. Connection. Connection, slowing down to listen to one another, learning to stop competing with one another. Competing is the matrix game. And although we may live in the matrix, we don't have to act like it.
That
Be
takes practice. Remember, we are so programmed and conditioned to live in this 3D and stepping out from the fourth to the fifth. That's going to take practice. It's just not going to wake up. Oh, I'm in the fifth dimension. Are you kidding?
uh,
Come on. The caterpillar, how long does it take to sit there and dissolve into that mucky muck in the darkness to become this magnificent butterfly? So, yeah, the 3D, they're going to want you to stay there. But it takes practice
yeah,
to ask, practice to ask. I do this silly metaphor with myself because I really have struggled my entire life asking, thinking I'm independent, I can do it myself, the story.
oh yeah,
And now, last 2 years, I've been asking, and it's amazing how um, the answers just keep coming. It's so bizarre for me. I was like, it was that simple. Yeah,
yeah,
Jimmy. So I look at it like you're gonna go to your friend's house. Okay. And perhaps for myself, I'm not gonna just stand out there and wait for my friend to open the door.
right.
I could say, so that's what has helped myself in learning to ask. Jamie, no one's gonna open the door at your friend's house if you just stand there. So
Yeah,
pick up your arm, take it, go ahead and knock,
yeah,
and then the door will be open. It's okay. And if you don't have the arms to do it, hey, bro, can you knock on the door for me?
right.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's funny with me is like knocking on the door because I know spirit talks to me. I've gotten so used to that conversation. I'm like, I'll write down an or I'll just think of an intent question, and I take one walk around the block, and it's answered. So, but there are people I have to remember. Like that's me living in a higher dimension when I should just be right here, right now. What does it say? Finally, after 2 years, I have a contact with my spiritual friend. Is it any chance that you can check in your tarot deck? What does he think about me? We're getting slowly. Well, yeah, I could check in the cards.
But
And I
I
have a card out right now, slow and steady. So you
slow and
are,
steady. Okay, instantly, I didn't even pick up the tarot. Lila. It's Lila. It's like, remember, oh, it's really hard to plant that tomato seed and not dig it up. So what came to me even before he pulls the cards of the tarot is is patience, is just patience and faith. The seed shall come first through the dirt. That's what came to me.
That's,
Um,
you know what? That's true. That's the most beautiful teaching. There's something I do with the moon, which we're gonna do next month, next lunar month, not calendar month. And it has to do with learning patience by planting actual seeds, physical seeds, plants.
oh,
It's it's a timing with the moon that helps you understand every 2 days what the moon's energy is trying to teach you and how to be able to read our world by plants.
oh, when did you do this? I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll start next. It's got to start 3 days before the new moon. Okay, so what I got from the gossip cards is unbothered. So this is trying to tell you again to have patience. You might be a little agitated right now because you can't read this person. And pretty interesting. I want you to keep in mind you're not supposed to read people's minds. Okay. And even when we get our best read on another person, I want you to remember that that person is a multi layered individual. So we tend to, recently in the past, I say 10, 15 years, we tend to lean harder on our intuition and psychic abilities rather than connection. So stop trying to read this individual and ask. Be more open to what's really going on with them. And let me pull some tarot to go a little deeper on that. We'll get you 3 cards. Unbothered. Peace despite chaos, calm attitude, detachment, and not drama.
Oh, how apropos.
Right. And here we've got the beginning of new love, Ace of Cups. So take it slow because you know what happens if you try to rush new love. Number one, you taint it. Number two, you expect more than it really has to be. And number three, you might scare them away. So don't rush it. Stay calm. Still at the bottom of the deck. And I saw the lover's card peeking out. So there is a lot of chemistry in this.
Wow. Good for you, Lila. Good for you.
So with the Eight of Wands, this card usually means walk away. You have to walk away from some situation, okay, to allow this Ace of Cups that we have here at the bottom of the deck to bring you fulfillment of the Nine of Cups. So there's something from your past or your current situation that has you kind of feeling like this isn't enough. He used to talk to me about Under Earth. Oh, really? Okay. And one more. And yes, this is your this is like the card of rekindling love, right? So I have a feeling that you're walking away from like feeling like love could never happen for you again. And the angels are saying, "No, wake up. Be calm and unbothered. Wake up. This is their gift to you." So that's what I have for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
What time? Oh, we still got 5 minutes. So, on heaven on earth, any final closing thoughts?
For myself,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for consistency. Because right now, I'm telling myself if I keep my dial turned onto a radio station that feels really good for me, I want to keep playing the music.
Yeah.
Um, and with heaven and earth, it's just an idea, and this is where the dreamer, um, or the childlikeness of daydreaming that we all have innate within us, to just before you get out of bed, or maybe the last thing before you go to sleep, is to just think about what what if somebody gave you this blank canvas called your life, and you could go to sleep, and you could create the most perfect image and art piece of heaven on earth, then perhaps maybe we could learn how to embody the idea that this is sacred ground. Thank you. I think Bubble said it, that this is sacred ground, and we are to remember. I'm going to click or save the link. It's that beautiful young woman, Paella or Piella, who sings "Blessed Are We." And if you just keep listening to the 11 minutes, I'm telling you, there's something in our hearts that remember. And all of a sudden, is it a flip of the switch? Is it a game changer? Do we trip on a rock and say, holy shit, why was I stuck in that mesmeric bullshit mob mentality? I think I'd want to be around the softness, like a whole bunch of school of fish that go and swim so sweetly, and such a Layla dance with the rhythm underneath the ocean. And we're doing that right here on top of the earth.
Yeah.
So this is really myself, heaven on earth. I don't know how I'm going to show you that. Maybe it ain't mine to show you.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to. I was awestruck that at my age I finally felt what it was. It's so undescribable.
Yeah.
I can say so. Sorry for the tears, but I'm a
No.
Pisces. What do you think? I got emotion in my ocean.
Well, no, it brings up a good point. Like something I always try to remember about why people even gravitate towards the spiritual side of life. We've hurt. We've been through loss. We've been through self rejection. We've been through darkness. No one comes to the light because they were born in it. It's something that you have to feel, and that's when you find heaven on earth as your feelers start opening. After my NDE, I mean, I had instincts before. I could always sense when someone was behind me. But after my NDE, I could feel trees. I could feel their energy. Like it was, and that's how you find it. You follow those feelings. And like Holy Moly put, make sure you get rid of that stinky fart. You don't have to. You'll feel, you're like, oh, somebody farted over there. And when I say that, like somebody's trying to make that unpleasant experience for others because they haven't self-accepted yet. They haven't tapped into their feelers. And once you do, you'll find this heaven on earth. And anything we can do to try to help you get there is fine. But I am going to say right here and right now, my things that I have practiced for a long time. I was telling Jamie before the show, Here I am forgetting my most basic practices because I'm cramming a wealth of knowledge into my brain. For what? That was reflections of me not believing that what my practices were enough, even though I commune with God regularly, what I believe God to be. I don't believe God to be the Abrahamic judgment. I don't believe that to be God. I believe it's all things, us included. But
Yeah. Wow.
you
I
know,
want to say, thank you. Boy, there's a lot of juicy information here. Thank you, Bubble Bubble. And thank you, Holy Moly. It's helping myself. So I am glad and grateful that your heart is thinking for mine. So thank you. Because yeah, even across this magnificent third blue bunk from the sun.
right? If that's even the truth. I used to have a. I know the planets align, and we planets are a mere reflection of life on Earth. But I always used to tell some of my friends, unless we've been there, we don't know what's out there. What do you say here, bud? Well, somebody that was going to kill his son, but and the tablet it said not to kill. Yeah, if you got to find your God in a book and not in your soul, you might need to check yourself. Yeah, I mean, all people
That's it.
take all avenues. There are many different avenues. So some will read because they need the vision, right? So some go to the Bible's an amazing magic book. Um, but it helps some people. But there is a lot of fear. And I don't believe the fear comes from the Bible itself. I believe fear comes from the people who get paid to make churches. Because without that fear, you can read the Bible and you can understand it's a magic book.
That's the book. I agree. And also, thanks, Holy Moly, because that's a really great point. I'm more intrigued because you know what I say, the truth always reveals itself.
Yeah,
Always. So now they're finding these law or these books that were removed, and they're oh, I'm just excited about all the new discovery that is unfolding. So I can't wait to get my hands on those and start reading. You hear rumors and stuff, but for today, I'm just not going to go there because I've got about 6 books going, and I am just going to keep focusing on remembering why I'm here.
yeah, yeah. Self acceptance. And remember to take things slow. Like if you follow my channel, I do the Goetia every week, right? Well, there's 72 of them, so that's a long time, right? I show things like that as a way to show you it takes time and just take one step at a time. Nobody's expecting you to jump into it and know it all in one day. It usually takes about to remember something, it takes you 21 days of repeating it.
Really?
So, yeah, try to repeat something for 21 days. You'll remember it. So, and another reason I do those Goetia is because it's self acceptance. You learn about the caverns of the unconscious. We don't call them demons, and we don't call the Notoria angels. We call them unawareness. And by studying them, we learn about ourselves, our psyche, and the psyche of others.
Mm.
And the more, like my therapist said, get a workbook, not a book, a workbook on cognitive behavioral therapy. Get a workbook, not a book, on emotional intelligence, just to kind of understand yourself. That's what the Goetia is. It's a workbook to understand and accept yourself so that you can live more consciously aware.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
and
right.
what does that mean? We can go down that rabbit hole. Anyway,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
thanks for calling me hard, and thanks for talking about this subject that just came up for me. I'm really grateful, and everybody who has said something, thank you very much. Queen, thanks. The
Yeah.
Ethiopian people heard that too. Okay.
Yeah, the
Well,
Ethiopian Bible has never been doctorated. Nothing's taken out of it. Nothing
right.
was added to it. Nothing has been changed. And it still talks about the Enoch, the giants, it talks about magic, it talks about technology. I'm a firm believer that the past is not the past, it's the future. I believe that. I believe we get to some point in technological advance and it loops and we
Well,
start living all over again.
let's talk about that next week.
Yeah, definitely. All right,
So
guys. Well, thank you all for your time here. And it is the truth. You guys are what make this channel. That's why I call it our channel. We were talking a little bit earlier about egregores, a collective, and I would rather make a collective of us than a collective of I. So I'm really grateful for all of you here. Mary Sadi, thank you for showing up. And thank you, Jamie, for these Tuesday talks. It's really, that's the connection. I love having our connection. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna end it here. So I hope you all have a good day and be blessed, man. We have a lot to live for.
bye, everybody.
Bye bye.